So, let's get started. So, I'll be the instructor, for QA. So I'll be going through, various. So, before going that, we'll just look pretty quick on syllabus. Okay, I hope everyone got syllabus for this. Okay. If you didn't get, make sure you send me an email. Okay. Don't ping here. Okay, don't ping here. I'm not saying that you have to ping here. I'm saying to send to an email at manu@itamerica.com. Okay. Just don't ping it. Okay. Because I have to again, this place is hard to copy and paste. And, if you send me an email, I'll be knowing the correct address email ID, because here it might get some underscore might have missed, or some dot may have missed. It will get rejected. Okay, so that's the reason I know it to send an email, not to ping in the chat. Okay, okay. So here. So we'll get see for QA class of we'll get some idea what I'm going to what we are going to learn in this whole process, in the 2 weeks process. Okay, let's say for first and two classes. The second class is important. That is tomorrow's class. Make sure you guys attend it. In that class, I'll be showing you how to open a defect, how to find an issue. And the most important thing is, as a QA, as a software tester or software analyst or QA engineer, tester, or whatever your position or rank will be, how you are supposed to find an issue is a very important thing. So that will learn tomorrow's class. Okay. But in these two classes, we'll be learning on various types of testing, various testing. It's kind of introduction kind of view on various types of testing. So we'll be learning a lot of testing, and the first thing is why you have to know all this, right? It's not necessary that you'll be doing all this in your project, but it's good to know, because you never know what kind of testing comes up in a project, right? Let's say if you're in the project and you suddenly, they move into a different project. In that case, these, some scenarios you're not doing anything, now you're doing a different kind of testing. In that case, it's useful but it's not really necessary to know all of this. It's really not, So yeah, people who can't hear properly, right? Yeah, some people can hear properly. Here, let me give me a second. Let's see here.
ਪੈਂਚੋ ਨੇ ਕੱਲ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਾਲਾਂ ਭੇਜਤੀਆਂ ਰਾਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਐਜ਼ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਡ ਡੈਲਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ
People in the previous batch they said, hey, why cannot give you access to this DLC? That's really, so people have to understand it's not an application, it's not a tool, or it's nothing to do with any software or application. It is a framework. That means it's a framework how you work, the process, the way you are working now. After development, testing, after testing, defects, after defects, maintenance. So it's kind of the process, right? So that's what this SDLC is all about. So we'll learn in detail. Okay, moving forward. Then the similar way you have software testing life cycle, like development, you have testing. Okay, so we go through that too. And we have bug life cycle or defect life cycle. Similarly like STLC also have bug life cycle. Then we'll talk about these various methodologies. Okay, it's methodologies like waterfall methodology, helical methodology, and so on. Okay, we'll take this whole class for agile. Agile being, we learn a lot of in agile there's a lot of terminologies where we, it's so similar to not similar to SDLC. SDLC is completely different. And agile is fast moving process. It's really today they, let's say today they have built an application. Okay, they told you to start testing by today and tomorrow it's done. Right, it's that fast. But you're in waterfalling, you're waiting for months together to get your project done, get the work done. But in agile, it's really not in the case. One day, 1 week, it's done. Right, 1 week the project is completed. So it's that kind of level of fastness. So you need to get used to all this agile. So we'll work on this agile. So Rally, as I told you before, Rally is very helpful. So this Rally tool, what we'll be going to learn is very helpful for learning to this agile. Okay, so we'll work on that one too. So next we'll talk about this Jira. So Jira is another tool. It's a test management tool. Okay, Jira is another test management tool, which is used, for the again test management. You want to write your test cases, execute your test cases, and report defects, following with the developers, following with the other people. So that's what. So this is a tool, to execute your test cases. Okay. And then it's an old model, and we'll talk about this HPLM, this Hewlett Packard Application Lifecycle Management. This is also a test management tool, but it's really, that's really becoming obsolete, but it's, you need to know because if you are using any waterfall methodology or, or any other methodology, you might be using HPLM. Okay. So we'll just have an introduction, we'll take an introduction. So here in this case, what we are discussing is 3 to 4 tools of test management. Okay, it's nothing to do with any ETL process, nothing to do with software development. It's just a QA process. A QA. So I'm muting, a few of them. If anyone has any questions, you can, unmute your mic and you can go ahead. Okay, so that's about these tools. Okay, so we have 4 tools, 3 tools. Basically, I'll be giving you access for the 2 tools, and one more we'll learn about TFS, that is Team Foundation Server, and we'll see how it's processed. So next in the 9th class, we'll just talk about the QTP, that's Quick Test Professional, and see how regression testing goes on in QTP. And then we'll talk about the certification. Let's see what kind of certification we can get. With few of them certifications, we'll try to get it. This is free certifications. You don't have to pay any money or something. Okay, you just sit at home, write your test at home, and you can get a certificate. Okay, we'll just talk and do this in the last class. Okay, so this is all about in the syllabus point of view. Okay, so any questions so far? People who can hear properly, any questions? People who are not able to hear, they can send me an email once they have this recording, right? Once they get the recording, can send me an email. If you have any questions, we can have a call, and we can clear any. If you have any class, I can clear any doubts if you have. Okay, so let's go to this various types of testing. Okay. So let's start with black box testing. Okay. So what is a black box testing? So black box testing is a high level testing. Okay, black box testing is a high level testing, and it's performed by the testers and not by the developers. It's not really for the developers, but it's for testers. Why? Because these are considered requirements and functionality. What is the requirement and functionality of an application? Based on this, this black box testing is done. Okay, an example, and this is a high level testing. Again, you need to understand this high level testing. That means it consists of various levels of testing. Okay, like functional testing, system testing, performance testing. All this constitutes to form a black box testing. Okay, now your boss can suddenly ask you, right? Just in between, they will stop you and say, hey, have you completed black box testing? Okay, your boss will ask right away in front of everyone. Okay, so you need to make them understand. So they will, see, your boss doesn't have technical knowledge. You are the one who is having technical knowledge. So you need to, explain them that black box testing is not an individual level testing. It's a team level testing. Okay, it's a team level testing and it's by the team. So this is an appropriate question for a lead, not for any individual team member or something. Right? Lead supposed to answer because they know what kind of testing is going on, and let's say 3 or 4 people who are working. One is working for system testing, one is for functional testing, and all of them completed. Then they call it a black box system. Okay, so let's take an example here. Okay, let's say google.com, right? Let's say google.com. Yeah, everybody knows google.com. Okay, I'm not just saying like what is google.com. I'm saying trying to understand, make you understand what's the functionality. Okay, so people have said like we know Google, so I'm not saying that knowing Google or not knowing Google. It's like trying to understand the functionality of an application. Okay, so let's say this is a web application. Why web application? Anything which you browse over internet, browse over a browser. This is the browser, right? This is Google Chrome browser, and whenever you use this URL, HTTP URL, as a matter of fact, any URL which is which can be accessed, is called web application. Okay, so now this is a web application. Now to test this, let's say if you are testing functionality in this page is anything. If, for example, this image is functionality. This URL is functionality is Google Apps. These also function. So anything what you see in this web page is a functionality. So that's what it means by functionality. Okay, so we'll go in detail about this. Okay, just to give you a heads up to what is a functionality. And requirement can be a document. It can be a document in the form of document, or it can be word to mouth. Sometimes BA stops at your desk. Hey, you know what? Why don't you test this? Okay, so we are planning to release this. Start testing it. Okay, they might not give you complete requirement set. They might really don't care about it. So that's a requirement. Okay, BA might just stop at your desk. You don't know who's the BA who might be developer, but they will stop by and say, hey, this is the functionality. Hey, can you start testing, because this should be next week. It should be in production, and we are running late. Can you start testing this? Okay. Now again, you need to understand that just because somebody else told you doesn't mean you have to start getting testing. You need to coordinate with the lead, coordinate with the boss, and then make sure it is good. Okay, so that's how the procedure you need to follow. Just because some random guy, random person told you start testing, do this, do that, you cannot do this. Okay, because it really has to come from your boss to lead, and from lead to you. Okay, you cannot just do whatever somebody else tells you to do. Okay, so that's a black box testing. Black box testing is a high level testing done by the testers and not by the programmers, because it requires because testing is based on requirements and functionalities. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, let's go to the next one. White box testing. Again, this white box testing is a high level testing, but this time this is done by the programmers and not by the testers. Why? Because internal logic of an application code is to be known. Internal logic. So let's see what exactly is this internal logic. Okay, go to google.com and see. I go to this and see what's the internal. So this is what you need to know when you're doing white box testing. It's not really. I mean, this is not white box testing. I'm saying just an example of this, okay? Because white box testing constitutes of various types of testing, like unit testing, okay, system integration testing. All those constitute to form a white box system. But here's what the developers do. They checks in the code here. Okay, they look at this code and fix this code. So this is what they will be doing. They look in the particular code. If there's an issue with the code, they'll be looking to it, and they'll be test this one. So that's a white box testing, not related to any testers. Okay, for the developers, because internal logic. So this is the internal logic of this application. Okay, this is like a user point of view. User sees only this web page, and the developer sees this one. Developer doesn't care about UI, doesn't developer cares about this code. What's the coordinate here and how it's going to change. So that's the reason it's called logic. Okay, internal logic of an application. And this is also called as glass box testing. Okay, this is also called as glass box testing. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so let's move to the next one. So let's go to the unit testing. Okay, so unit testing is the name itself, right? Unit means single, right? It's one unit. And this kind of testing is done by the programmers in unit testing, okay, not by the testers. Why? Because detailed knowledge of internal, have to be known. For example, let's see here, I mean, this is, see here is a lot of code. A code like, have a lot of things in this. It can be Java, JavaScript, HTML, Ajax, and so on. Okay, a lot of code will be there. But to test as a unit, you just say here, let's say if you're testing some unit here, so this is kind of unit. That means you're only, worrying about single, module of the code. Okay, this is one unit of the code, and we'll be testing this one. So that's called unit testing. Okay, so unit testing is it's done by the developer, okay, not by the testers, because the code you need to know while loop, if there are any loops, you need to know, and what is the what kind of code you're using, all those things you need to know when you're doing the unit testing. Okay, so not a typical tester's job. Okay, it's more of a related to developer point of view. Okay, that's called unit testing. To test a unit, single module of the code is called unit testing. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So before going incremental integration, we'll just go to integration testing. Okay. So before that, right, we'll just talk about this functional testing. What? We'll just talk about this functional testing. Before going to more complex version of testing, we'll just try to see a little bit understanding of functional testing. Okay, so here's the definition. What is functional testing? It is this sort of testing is done based on the requirements, and it's actually the functional requirement of an application. Okay, so you do testing based on the requirement, whatever the requirement is, based on that you do start testing. But let's understand in detail what's actually the functional testing. Okay, so as I told you, the same functional testing can be anything. This edit box where you can type here, and here you have this URLs. Click on this. Let's see if this is navigating to particular URL. Let's see here. Okay, good. It's going to that URL. And if I click this button, is this okay? This is really not button. This is command. Okay, good. So this is functional testing. You are testing the functionality of an application. Okay, what is functional? To test and functionality and features of an application. What are functionalities? Functionalities can be anything: edit box, text box, images, Okay, radio buttons, drop down buttons, this rolling round button, so random rolling down, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that kind of testing is called functional testing. Okay. Now, for example, right, if you see this button is almost no use. Okay, so Google might want to remove this at one point of time, because whenever I type something, it automatically instant search is on, right? So you really don't require such kind of button. So this kind of functionalities are very important to understand. What it holds in the future point of view, right? But still, whose internet is slow and whose internet is not good, this button might be useful. So that's one of the examples. Let's move to the complex part of our functional testing. Okay, let's take an example of Amazon.com, right? Now this is a little bit complex, because the reason here is you have these images. You see this lot of images here showing up, right? A lot of images, and this is just images. This is images integrated with URL. That means if I click on this, it's going to see this. The whole page is navigating, right? It's gone to the next page. So this is a little bit complex here, because the images are integrated with URLs. Okay, so that's but this is again the functionality industry. Okay, and this is a lot of things here. This also contains the same functionalities, like this is edit box, and you have also option drop down. This is a drop down, and you want to check all these functionalities. Is it working fine? This rolling is working here, and my card is good, and all those things. Okay, now let me ask you this. Okay, let me ask you one more complex functionality where specifically Amazon has it. Okay, now let's take an example. Let's, I'm hovering my mouse over this department section, right? Let's see, I'm hovering mouse this department section. Can anyone say what happened suddenly? Can anyone
Is
tell
a
me?
drop down?
Okay, drop down box. Anything else you notice? Okay, good. You have noticed a drop down. That's good. Without clicking this button, you see this functionality, right? So now that,
Right.
yeah, go ahead. So that's a good observation. A drop down box shows up, and I'm not clicking anything, right? I'm not even bothered to click on this. I'm just hovering my mouse. It's called hovering, right? I hover my mouse over this, and drop down box shows up. Anything else, guys, notice in this?
Is a search button you are talking about
Yeah,
that?
about the departments. When I hover my mouse in the department section, what's happening? What's the functionality change you are seeing here? One is good. You said drop down. The drop down box is good. Another thing you are seeing.
Is it like a uh, is a background dim down or something like that? So it's only departments are open.
Exactly. That's what I was looking for. Now, if you see here, if you hover this mouse over here, the background brightness gets dimmed. You see this? So that is also a functionality. I hope you got hold of this functionality. Okay. So this is what I was looking for. See, just now the drop down. You see this? There might be also requirement. There might be also Amazon might have requirement from BA saying that whenever the customer wants to hover this mouse over department, I want this brightness of this gets dim, because customer can able to see what they are looking for, not unnecessary things. What is the background, right? So that's the reason they created specifically this functionality, to make sure the customers are getting good quality, right? Because if the brightness remains same, the customer get confused. Okay, am I looking to this, or I'm browsing this drop down box, right? So now that can be a very important functionality from business analyst or from business itself. Okay, of course, it might not be well documented. You may not have requirements saying that. Okay, you might have screenshot saying that this brightness. You also need to look. Okay, so that is also called as functionality, right? It's good. There's two things are happening here. Whenever you hover this mouse over, the brightness is getting dim, and you are actually getting these drop down bars. Drop down where you can navigate more. Okay, so that's an example. So I have given you example of functionality, and to test all these is called functional testing. Okay, so that's little bit. This is complex part of this functional testing. Okay, other than just clicking these buttons, is fine. Everyone can do that. This is one of the complex part to find issues in an application, not just web application, client applications too. So web application, whichever you browse over the browser is called web application, and client application is something which you install in your system. For example, Outlook, right? Outlook you need to install in your system, and then you need to you can test that functionality. So that's called client application, because always you need to install, go to the control panel, install that, and then you need to figure it out. So that's called client application. Web application is something which you work on through browser, and a Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Mozilla, Firefox, or Safari, and so on. Okay, those are web browsers. Okay, so any questions on this functional testing? So we'll go more detail into this functional testing. By tomorrow's class, we'll try to see how to get issues through functional testing, because that's whatever testing you're doing, the functional testing is important, not just functionality, but you're trying to see various things into that functionality. Okay. Okay, good. So let's go to the next one. So let's go to the integration testing. Pretty quick, we'll just go to integration testing. So integration testing is to let's say there are various modules. Okay, let's say there are various modules. Let's take an example of Google.com. So here, if I click on this button, Google Apps, yes, I'll be sending an email about this PowerPoint. Yeah, I'll be sending this email. But make sure you guys give me email ID. Okay, so I don't have everyone's email ID. Like 6 members, right? I don't think I have 6 members. Maybe 3 or 4. So make sure you send it an email to my email ID. It's manu@itmerica.com. Okay. Okay. So no problem. Just send me an email. Okay. manu@itmerica.com, so that I'll be sending you slides, as well as one QA book. Actually, I found this book. You can just refer it. It's really not required to read this all the contents in this, but you can just refer it. Okay, just try to. You don't even have to understand it. Just see if you're in free time and you want to gain some knowledge. I'll be sending this book too. This is you have a little bit. But if you don't understand my class and really you don't like my the way of teaching, it's fine. You can refer this book and try to see if you find it useful. Okay. So I'll be sending this too. Okay. I have not read this book, but I find this pretty interesting. Maybe you can. This covers a lot of things. Pretty detailed. It has various detailed perspective of explaining things. So you can refer it to this. I'm sending this to you. Yeah. Yeah, you need to send me an email, okay, at manu@itmerica.com. Okay, don't ping here. Don't ping here, because I'll get wrong email ID, because sometimes it don't get copied. Okay, dot underscore don't get copied properly, and I get rejected. Lot of email gets rejected. So that's the problem. That's the reason I say to everyone that send me an email, so that I'll be getting a correct email ID. Okay. So let's talk about this integration testing pretty quick. So here, let's take an example of Google. let's say this is called Google Apps, right? That's what it's showing up. Okay, it's Google App. Now Google has so many other things, right? They have so many things: YouTube, Gmail, Drive, okay, so on. Okay, now these are not, doesn't run in one domain. So domain in sense, this is the domain google.com. Now if you have YouTube is a different domain. You see here youtube.com. Nothing to do with google.com. They have different domain. That means it can be a different server. It can be a different database. Of course, it could be a different database. It can be a different, complete different provider, service provider, so on. So here now, let's coming back to our integration, right? So this is a different domain. This is a different domain. So there might be a pretty lot of different developers who are working on it. YouTube developers are different. Google.com developers are different. Gmail developers are different. Although this is in subdomain, you see this mail.google.com. That means it's subdomain of google.com. Okay, subdomain in sense, if you put in here mail, okay, that means it's a directory folder inside a folder, right? If you take this as a folder, google.com as a folder, the mail.com is like folder inside a folder, right? So that's how subdomain means. Okay, so now a lot of people are working here. They are Google developers, they are Gmail developers, they are YouTube developers, a lot of people. Okay, now all these things are different and they have to integrate all these things in one, right? All these apps, because a lot of people are working here, all these apps, they have to integrate in one. So this is called Google Apps, and they have integrated all these things in one. So this is called integration. To test this, it's called integration testing, right? See this Google Plus, YouTube, these are different apps from the different developers, not the same developer, right? Who is working at Google.com might not even know what is YouTube. Okay, they are not working on that code. They're working on Google. So that's how they have to integrate that YouTube into this google.com. So that's how this is called, right? Click on this, you show this one. This is called integration testing. I'm sorry, this is called integration. To test this, it's called integration testing. So let's see here. Now, what is integration testing? Testing an integrated modules to verify the combined functionality after integration. So you want to make sure after integrating this, the code doesn't break, right? Now, you might just say, what's a big deal? Put that, image here and put that URL. That's it, done. Okay, this might not be so simple for third-party providers. For example, if you go, let's take a different complex example like Amazon.com. Okay, here let's say this is really not in the case like Amazon. If you have this here, you have third-party vendors, right? Now, this one is really not so easy because you need to get license from the third party. You cannot just put somebody else's URL into somebody else's page. That's really not good because they'll be having copyright issues. They'll be having a lot of things to do there. You can't just put just like that. Okay, so they have to go get the certificate installed, the license certificates, and all the certificates installed. Then they have to put this. So there's a lot of process. They might also require the legal process. When the legal process is cleared, only then they can put all this, third-party URLs here. So this is also the case. So it's not really pretty simple as you might think. Integration testing, it's not pretty good. So pretty easy. Just put that image, put that URL, and it's done. Okay. It might work for certain companies, but not all, because you need to get a lot of things to be done before you. Because the code will be different. This code is different. Because using this code here, this application might break, that application might be break. So you need to test all those things. So that's called integration testing. To test an integrated modules to verify combined functionality after integration. Okay, so this is just an example I've given. Okay, this is one of the examples. We can, combine any other examples, but this is one of the examples where you can do your integration testing. Okay.
So, Mr. Manu, this is integration testing is like QA people will do it too, or just like a programmer, they do that integration testing?
Normally, QA people, yes, it's based on project basically. Okay, if the project requires QA people to do it, or they have to do it. Okay, then normally it's based on the project. But integration testing also is done by the developers too.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not like a hard and fast rule that only QA have to do, only developer have to do. It based on really project, and whoever is responsible to guide has to do this. Okay.
So, but like combining the two functionalities, especially like the different applications integration together, like on the you said like subdomain and stuff. So, do you have to know the codes and stuff for that or not? It's just a simple like you just integrate the two applications together.
As a QA point of view, no, I don't have to know the code. I need to just test. Let's say if I want to test, let's say I want to see is this working, because this was integrated, right? I'll just click this and see this all the application is working. I'll click on this, so that's it.
All right.
Okay, so as a QA point of view, you're really not required to know the code.
Okay.
Just testing, links are working, the images are good, all those things. That's it. Okay. Any more questions from anyone? Yeah, that's good. It should be like interactive. So if anyone has questions, unmute your mic. That's way more better than typing in the chat. Okay, because that will be a better interaction. You have to remember this, because communication is very important in any project, not just here, not just anywhere else. In your projects, that's a major thing to survive in your project. If you don't have communication, then it will be pretty tough. Okay. If you have any questions, unmute your mic and you can go ahead rather than typing here, because if you type something, I understand something, I say something, right? That's really you don't want to happen that, right? So it's better to interaction. So interaction should be good. Okay, so let's go to the next. We have this incremental integration testing, right? Let's see here. Okay, incremental integration testing is like the name itself, right? Incremental. That means it keeps on getting increased, right? It gets increased one by one. Okay, so let's take an example here, pretty quick. So let's say if I click this button, Google app, and I get this 9, 10, 11, right? 11 apps, okay, 11 apps. No, if you have this incremental, if I click this more, now I get more. So this is incremental, right? It says increase for more 12. Okay, if you can see this by hovering my, moving my. So this is our incremental integration, and even more, then you can click this even more, and you can get a lot of things here. Now they have integrated all this into one page, and now you can see a lot of things here. You can keep hovering your mouse. So this is incremental integration. Okay, they keep integrating it, they keep increasing it. Okay, you need to keep testing it. Okay, see there's a lot of things. Okay, so this is called incremental integration. Okay, and of course, as a QA point of view, you need to test each and every module to make sure this is working, this is working, this is working. Everything, whatever is integrated here, you need to test that, going to that website and looking at is it working or not. Is the images displaying correct? If that functionality, proper functionality is working or not, all those things. Okay, so that's called incremental integration. Okay, it's keep on increasing, you need to keep on testing it. Okay, so that means continuous testing of an application as a new functionality is added is called incremental testing. Okay, incremental integration testing. Okay, so let's go to the next topic pretty quick. So here, you have this another kind of system testing. Okay, system testing is like this system testing is more related to client applications, not web application. As I told you, web applications are only accessed through web browsers. Client application which is installed in your system. So this is system testing is more, it's more makes it since it makes sense to client application which is installed in your system. Okay, so here entire system is tested as per the requirements. Okay, so entire system in sense based on the requirements. If I install a lot of things, I need to also look as per the requirement. Is that requirement says I need to test this, then I have to test. That's what it means by entire system. Entire system doesn't mean that you have to test everything, like you have DLL files, you have registry keys, and a lot of things, right? We don't test that. What we are testing here is if you have installed any specific application, you need to see that application's functionality, that application, related to that, you need to test. Okay, so entire system doesn't mean that you need to go start, testing DLL files, start testing registry keys. You cannot do that. Okay, because as it says, as per the requirements, entire system as per the requirements. If the requirement says, then you have to do it. Okay, doesn't show the requirements, you can coordinate with the business analyst saying that, hey, you know what, this is a peculiar issue I'm getting. Do I need to test that? Do I need to test it? So you need to confirm with that. Other than that, we don't do entire system. Okay, so entire system is tested as per the requirement. It's called system testing. In black box testing, as I told you, right, this system testing is included in the black box testing. Black box testing is a high level testing. Okay, this one of the part is system testing in the black box. Okay, and functional testing, also integration. These are all constitutes to form a black box. Okay, it's not like specific it's not a specific application testing or any kind of testing. It's kind of constitutes various testing. Then only you call it as black box testing. Okay, let's move to the next one. End-to-end testing. So end-to-end testing is end-to-end testing name itself, right? From one end to other end. Okay, so one starts from right from smoke testing, sanity testing, functional testing, integration. All this, black box testing. If all these are completed, then it's called end-to-end testing is done. Okay, from one end to the other end. So as a QA point of view, we keep it simple. We'll just keep it simple. We don't want to go, because if you're considering ETL point of view, then QA is also part of the ETL. Okay, so then ETL testing, you'll be having a lot of things to do. Source testing, staging testing, target testing. Again, you have jobs, various jobs. So have you done the various jobs testing? In that, again, QA part comes up. QA testing. Okay, and again, all these things, functional testing. So we just keep it simple as a QA point of view. Okay, end-to-end testing means from one end to the other end as the QA point of view. So what the one end? It's one end starts from smoke testing, sanity testing, okay, functional testing, integration testing, and then performance testing, regression testing. Okay, ends with regression testing. So that's end-to-end testing. Any questions? Okay, so let's go to here the next one. Sanity. Okay, before going to sanity, there is a smoke testing. Okay, this is not here. Okay, the smoke testing is not here. I'll just give an introduction part. Okay, before going to even the smoke testing, we'll just try to understand. We'll try to understand the basic things, how this works. Okay, let's try to understand. So, you will be having three major environments. So there are environments. Okay. So if you want to take environment, you can take it as a different server. Okay. As a ease of convenience, you can take as server. Okay. Three different environments. That means I need three different servers. Okay. Well, let's try to understand in that way. So you have three different servers. What are they? Development environment, testing environment, and production environment. Right? What happens in development environment? That's simply called as dev environment. Dev environments, the developer guy checks in all ports and whatever he does, all this garbage kind of thing he does in dev environment. He doesn't have access to test environment and he is not authorized to do anything in test environment. Whatever he has to do is doing dev environment. So that's dev environment. Test environment where the testers has to do in that environment. Okay, and you don't have access to any production environment or dev environment. Sometimes you might have to get access to dev environment because you start testing. Okay, but really, as a QA point of view, you really don't want to do in dev environment. Okay, because trust me, really it doesn't look good. It's better to do in test environment. And then you have one more thing: production environment. Production environment is where the customers use it. For example, Google.com. So this is the production environment. Why? Because whoever is accessing this is actually using their real-time data, real-time access. Okay, so that's called production environment. And neither developers nor testers have access to production environment. Very few people have this access to production environment, and they're really not something to do with that. It's something to because you really don't want to mess with production data. Okay, a lot of production systems will be there, but you're not really authorized to do any of this with the production data. Okay, so these are three major environments. Although there might be many environments, but three major is dev environment, test environment, and production environment. Okay, so environment you can take as server, different server. Okay, I can understand through server. If you're talking about server, yeah, I can understand that. Dev server, test server, production server. Yeah, that's good. Dev for development, test for testers, production for customers, right? So that would be easy to understand if you go understand what's environment. Okay. Now, after all this, what happens whenever the developer checks in the code? Okay, they'll do all this kind of coding, right? As I told you, for example, here we'll check. Let's see, get back to here. So let's say developer has done all this. So now this is in production. So of course, obviously this will not be the case. It should be in dev environment. So they might be having some, some kind of dev dot, Google.coms, something like that. They might be having that. So we don't want to use that. Okay. So that means they are doing in development environment, and whatever they are doing code, whatever they are doing, they'll be doing in dev environment. Okay. Now, let's say they checked in code. That means they checked in code in dev environment. Once it gets approved, okay, it has to get approved from your boss, from their manager. Dev manager has to approve it. Once it gets, that code has to move to test environment. And who is doing that? Some middleware team will be working on that and putting that code into that test environment. Okay. And that's how the system works. Now that's called builds. There are called various things called build. Build 1, build 2, build 3. That means whenever the code gets checked in from dev environment to test environment, right? That's one build. Another code, dev guy has checked in on this called second build, third build. Okay, so on. So that's kind of overview of the way it works. But let's come back to here. Let's talk about the smoke testing. Okay, smoke testing is something which is called random testing, kind of random testing. It's really not much different from functional testing and smoke testing. The only difference is functional testing has test cases, smoke testing doesn't. The smoke testing you're completing in just 1 or 2 hours, that's it. For example, this button is working, it's good. This button is working, okay, good. Now, that means the smoke testing is that application testable or not? If it is not testable, then you talk to the developer, hey, what, smoke testing has failed. I cannot move further with functional testing because smoke testing has been failed. And now, okay, now I'll check in build, and they will just come up with this build and then check in again. The next day it will be out. Okay, now you can start testing the smoke testing and continue with other testing. Okay, so that is what it's called as smoke testing. Okay, smoke testing is it application testable or not? Can we move forward with other types of testing or not? That's called smoke testing. Okay, and it's kind of random testing. We will do some random, few things are working, not that's kind of random thing. Okay, So that's smoke. Let's go to here, sanity testing. Let's talk about this sanity testing. Here, sanity testing is, for a different version. Let's say you are testing an application for a different version. Okay, the same application, different version. We call it sanity testing. Okay. So different version, you understand, right? Let's say you found some bugs. You found some bugs. That bugs get resolved. It comes into a new build. Okay. Now they call it a different version. Okay. Now you want to perform that in a different version. That's called sanity testing. Okay. Now let's talk about this regression testing. We have only 5 minutes, and let's talk about this regression. Okay, so here, let's say that you have opened a lot of issues, and now let's say the issues are fixed and it's good. Now, what happened, right? Let me ask you a question in regression test. So, let's say you have done your testing, you have written some good test cases, 20 test cases, and you executed all the test cases, right? And you are done with the QA point of view. You're done with the QA manual testing, and you're good. Now what happens, right? Now a developer will keep on working on this application. You don't know. They never told you, and they'll never tell you. Okay. So they will keep working on this, and suddenly developer stops at your desk. Okay, the developer guy starts at the desk and saying that, hey, you were testing this application, right? Yeah, I was testing this application. You know what? I changed this code. So because there was some issue with the code, not a functional point of view, but a code point of view. The code was not good, and we just changed the code. So can you start testing? Now, developer guy stops at your desk and orders you to, can you start testing? Can you? Can anyone tell me what's your response on this? Some random developer who was working on this application, and he saw that you are testing it. So what he did, he changed some code, and we don't know what the code is all about. And he stops at your desk and says, you know what, I checked in this code, same code, we have made some modification, and he's telling you to start testing again. Can anyone tell what the response on this? Yeah.
So you run the whole test again, like all the test cases, what have you written it and check it manually, then you have to run it again to make sure the functionality is added in the system, like the fixed functionality is working or not with the previous functionalities. So it should be like that.
Okay. So, now again, coming back to my old statement, as I told you, just because developer is saying that you cannot just start doing it, that's not appropriate. So what you need to do first thing is talk to your lead, right? Talk to your lead. Hey, you know what? I've completed my testing. I've done with my testing. That's 1 week, and we cannot do again because I've already executed all the testing. And you want to explain this to the lead, and developers, suddenly this guy came back to me, stopped my desk, and saying that, can you start testing? You need to check with the lead when you're doing all this. You cannot, just because he told you, you cannot again, okay, I'll start testing. No, it doesn't work that way. Because you don't have enough time for this. You need to have enough resources. A lot of things to be considered while doing this. Okay. Okay, you cannot just, okay, that guy told you and you can start, you cannot, because orders should come from your boss, your lead, then you. You cannot just take orders from developer or something, okay? Or what you can do is, hey, you know what, can you send me an email, CC my lead so that I know I can check on that. That is better way to approach the answer. That's good, okay, you know what we do, we'll just send me an email, put CC my lead and my boss too, because I'm not exactly sure what the timing line with this. So why don't you add those people? So based on the response of those team, we work on. That's how you need to respond. Okay.
Sure.
So that's more into that one. But what we can do is you can say, let's say lead came up with a solution saying that, you know what, we are done with this. We are done with this manual testing. We cannot do any more testing. Your code might have changed. That's good, but we cannot do testing.
On Thursday, November 16th, we will be hosting our student-led.
Okay, so we want to say this. Your code will be tested in regression testing. Okay, there's a regression team. There are different team. The regression guys, they will be testing it. So you know what? We'll be doing this regression testing. Okay, we cannot do any more manual because we are done. We don't have enough resources. We don't have enough time to do it. And in 2 weeks, it has to go in production. If we are doing this right now, we'll be we'll be having a lot of risk here. We need to have a lot of resources, a lot of things to be considered. So we cannot do testing at this point of time. But the same thing can be done in the regression testing. So what happens in the regression testing? Normally the tool is used. A tool like QTP, UFT. Okay, there's no more QTP, UFT. Okay, Unified Functional Testing. Okay, and the load runner is for non-functional testing. For performance testing, you use load runner. Okay, any tool. Selenium. Okay, Selenium. UFT you use in the regression testing. So what you do the same thing. What you have done manual, but here you automate all your test cases. Okay, that means tool will be running you instead of you. The tool will be running and it will get result. So that's called regression testing. And normally this will be a different team altogether. Normally as a QA you will not be doing regression testing. Okay, not always. Not always. If it's a smaller company, maybe they might require you to use this tool and do it. Otherwise, in big companies, they might have this whole regression as a team. Like they might have their own BA itself. It's big companies like Amazon, Google. They might have their own BA for regression, BA for UFT or Selenium, and they might start testing. Okay, so they might have their own different whole world altogether. Because in regression, again, you have this automation tester, automation developer, automation architect. A lot of things happens there itself. Okay. So this is a different world altogether. Okay, so what is regression testing? Regression testing is done after integration testing, once all the modules are integrated. Okay, and the tool is used such as Selenium or UFT to test an application. Okay, to make sure there is no breakage of any functionality after integration testing. Any questions so far?
No, Manu, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So we will have the access to these tools like UFT and Jira to do the practical.
You will be having access to Rally and Jira. A tool, not Selenium. I can give you, just you can download this add-in in Firefox and try to see if it's working. Okay, that thing I'll give you in the last class. Okay, last but one class. And tools, yeah, you will be having access to Rally and Jira.
Okay, not UFT, right?
UFT, no, because UFT, you can download the software and try to do it, but I recommend no, because there might also be database you need to be installed and a lot of complicated things. Okay, but yeah, you can download it. I also have this in my drive. So once I give the access, you might be able to do that. Also download and try to see if it works.
So this Jira is like a defect manager tool, or is like all that is same like UFT, or really is a UFT kind of tool too, like regression testing tool, or is just like a functional testing?
So UFT is an automation tool. Okay, it's an automation tool where you automate your test cases, and Jira is a test management tool.
Okay.
It's not even defect, because defect management tool is you are really narrowing down by only defects. Test management tool, that means it covers everything: writing test cases, executing test cases, defects. Okay, all those things. Okay, so that's why I called. I prefer to call as test management than defect. Okay, might be defect management tools, but as specific, Jira is a test management tool.
Sure, sure. And the same TFS, but we are not going to practice in the TFS too, right?
Right, TFS. You know what? I also have TFS. But I really, the problem with the Microsoft is the Microsoft own TFS, right? So the problem is they have very convoluted email ID, so I cannot give you access. But if you are interested, I can create a whole new subdomain for you in TFS, and we can, I can give you the whole project and you can work. So you can also get access to TFS as a matter of fact.
Oh, that will be really great because in the market right now, like, TFS kind of
Right.
like, mostly people, they are working TFS too.
Okay, so yeah, I'll set up a meeting. Just send me an email. If you're interested, I'll try to set up an account for you with your email ID, and you can practice TFS.
Oh, thank you very much, Manu. Really appreciate it.
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah. Recorded session has a clear sound. Okay. Not if you guys don't even get this one, you can go on better quality audio. You see this? I'll be giving you the two URLs. Okay. One is better audio quality, and the other is today's class. If you are not able to hear today's class properly, you can see the better audio quality. And if you have questions, you can reach out to me at manu@itmaker.com. And the phone, somebody also requested some phone, but I first try to email me. If you want really phone, you can reach out to me 732-333-4781. Okay, but I may not be available always in the desk or something. If you missed it, it's better to send an email. Okay. Okay. Any more questions?
No, thank you, Manu. ID, your meeting ID will be every day for the same, right?
Yeah, meeting ID will be same. You can log into directly. If any meeting ID change, I will send you an email accordingly.
Sure.
Okay. But yeah, ID will be same.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, some people might have class, so I'll be stopping you. If you have any questions, you can email me. Okay. Yeah. Let me give me a second. So I have only, so here's 5 people, and I have only 3 email IDs. So you guys need to send me an email. Okay, so otherwise I would not know. Okay, send me an email at manu@itmaker.com. I'll be sending before 4 p.m. is cut off. 4 p.m. EST is a cutoff. If you didn't get any email before 4 p.m., you can send me an email so that I'll add it in the list, because I only have 3 people, and here you have 5 people. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, man.